Hello, this is the video for Wednesday, February 10th in AP. So I can get through this pretty fast, I think. This is our slideshow, so this will be linked to the agenda and you can work your way through it if you're watching this video and you want to see it in more detail. It's fairly straightforward. We're looking at character today. We're looking at character specifically with Good Country People by Flannery O'Connor. And so the icebreaker was just think about a character that you really enjoyed in your life. But we moved into analysis with an emphasis on 3 topics. So here's how I'll recommend you do your BGD for today. Don't just try to evaluate a character in a vague way. Choose something really specific in this world to look at. Either a physical evaluation of the character, a psychological evaluation of the character, or an emotional evaluation of the character. So those 3 topics should help you focus your work a little bit more. A reminder, when we do creative analysis, it's not really about the quality of your writing. It's just about trying to come up with a thought that is unique and novel. With that in mind, I showed some examples of awesome analysis from your classmates. So these are all to do with the story of an hour. The first one is a physical analysis that Katie did of Mrs. Mallard. So we'll look at her analysis. In this quote, it's just the part where it says Mrs. Mallard has a fair, calm face whose lines bespoke repression, even a certain strength. So Katie said this quote reveals that through these lines that bespoke repression, Mrs. Mallard faced tenuous strains in her marriage. Young as she was, the stress of the relationship began to physically reveal itself. So a really nice analysis of something physical that reveals, of course, as physical things do, something else about the character. Here's a really long, good one from Crystal, where she's analyzing the way Mrs. Mallard is sitting in this comfy, roomy armchair. And so she writes, Mrs. Mallard's true feelings towards her marriage and her life are kind of revealed in this physicality. She sits in a comfortable room in a comfortable chair, but instead of taking comfort in her surroundings, she chooses to look through the window to catch a glimpse at what is happening outside. So Crystal understood this physical moment is more than that. There's something else going on with her physical decisions. The room is metaphoric for her life and her marriage. It's familiar, comfortable, but ultimately confining. And then she goes on about the world outside, which is a really nice change, moving from the inside world to nature outside, physical nature. What she sees when she looks out the window reveals how truly tired and hollow the life she leads has made her. She states her exhaustion, describing it as a physical weight on her soul, and juxtaposes that feeling with the treetop's excitement for life. The trees have survived the winter and come into spring, leaving the deadness of the cold behind in favor of new life. It's a comparison we can draw to Mrs. Mallard's current situation, the death of her husband giving birth to new life for her. It indicates how she truly feels about her husband's death. So really nice comparison between spring outside and the spring of Mrs. Mallard's life now that she's able to have because her husband dies. Then there's 2 points. You can hear them. Her physical decisions in the room to look outside, and then the room outside, the world outside. So this would be, you can already see the shape, a couple of paragraphs if we were to write an essay here. As it is, remember, creative analysis, I'm not looking for anything particularly structured. It can be free-flowing. Here's a psychological example where Lane illustrates the psychology happening with Mrs. Mallard's character. So she writes, on the surface, the quote conveys Mallard as an optimist, refusing to focus on tragedy, but a deeper look shows that perhaps she is not much of an optimist at all, but rather a liar, a denier. Perhaps not to others, but to herself. Despite her love for her husband, she has in some ways longed to live a life without him. The fact that optimism serves as a mask for her dishonesty speaks not only to the complexity of her character, but also reveals insights that ring true for most people. It's often easier to mask the subconscious than admit to it. Really good, deep, rich psychological study of Mrs. Mallard's character. So with these in mind, we moved into Good Country People. This, by the way, videos that I assign on AP Classroom are sort of optional exercises that you could do to increase your depth of character analysis, and you'll see those. They're always optional, but they can help you if you want to use them as data towards your goals. Good Country People, we didn't talk about it as a whole class. I really started by trying to let you have space to develop your own ideas about the characters. And this will be your async work. So we prepped for discussion, we had discussion, but for you watching the video, more importantly, most importantly, this will be your task. Choose one of the 4 characters, and then choose a topic you'll focus on that matches the character. You don't want it to be random. We don't know that much physical about Mrs. Freeman. Be weird to pick that. It would make sense to pick the physical attributes of someone like Holga or the Bible salesman, studying their physical movements. So match up and then focus on a quote around that idea and illustrate it through your thinking. In your BGD, I'll be looking for this for today's class in Wednesday, February 10th in the BGD. And that's it.